What's up everybody, welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing Maker's Mark FAE-01. So FAE-01, this one comes in at 110.6 proof, 55.3% ABV. This is a third release in the wood finishing series from Maker's Mark. This one released sometime around February or March of this year, and Maker's Mark will also be releasing the FAE-02, which will release in the fall, sometime around September or October. Specifically this one, it's finished in 10 virgin toasted American oak staves. One side is charred, the other side is raw. And basically what they're looking to get out of the char and raw side is different flavors to come out of the whiskey when they put those staves in there. As far as FAE, what does FAE stand for? It stands for fatty acid esters. And what are fatty acid esters? These are basically compounds. So when you have fatty acids and you combine it with alcohol, it forms fatty acid esters. And what this does in a whiskey is bring out more of a fruitier, fruit forward note in your whiskeys. Very smooth, very fruity, experience as far as the whiskey. So this one should be interesting. I've never been a big fan of Maker's Mark, specifically the regular Maker's Mark. It just does not agree with my palate, and it's just one of those whiskeys that, yeah, I'll only drink it if I have to. Let's just say that. But anything else that Maker's Mark has put out, that I've tried, I've been a big fan of. Specifically, like the Maker's Mark 46. I always keep that in stock, and I was very impressed with the Maker's Mark 46. I haven't been able to find 46 cask strength in my area, but from what I'm hearing, that's definitely one to pick up as well. So I can't wait to get into this one. And let's get into it. All right. All right, so let's go to the nose. Wow, they weren't lying. So on the label, typically I don't read any tasting notes or anything like that they put on the label when they do put them on the label, but this one here they put as far as tasting notes, a fruit forward expression with notes of tobacco and wood. They didn't lie about the fruit forward part of it. It's just like jumping out of the glass. I mean, when I poured it, I was already smelling that fruitiness coming out of the whiskey, but now that I'm smelling it, it's just completely fruit forward. So they didn't lie about that. So what I'm picking up is very fruity whiskey here. Specifically, I'm picking up a lot of cherry. So a lot of cherry, a lot of caramel. It's very spicy. There's a lot of spice coming through on the nose. And a decent amount of oak as well coming through. I would say a good amount of vanilla coming through out of here also. Yeah, so I would say the vanilla is like the second note that's jumping out of here, but definitely that fruitiness, that cherry note that I'm picking up. And I would say the cherry and spice are the two notes that really are above the rest. The other ones that I described are still there, but I would say the cherry and the spice jumping out of here is what stands out the most as far as the nose. But more importantly, let's go to the palate. Cheers. This is delicious. So everything that I picked up on the nose is, it transferred to the palate. The cherry note, the vanilla, the caramel, good amount of spice. There's a lot of spice in here. There's a good amount of oak as well, and a good amount of pepper coming through as well. Let's try it again. I would say the finish is a long finish as well. It's still lingering. I just can't get over how fruity this is. It's crazy. It's staying consistent. I would say the second time, the cherry note is still up there, but it kind of like stepped a notch back. And the spice creeped up, as well as the oak and the pepper creeped up more this second time. I feel like as far as the balance on that aspect, I feel like it kind of took a step back because like I said, the spice, the pepper, the oak are starting to overtake the palate. But don't get me wrong, I just mean like that cherry note that was really prominent in the nose and the palate, it just died down a little bit, and there's still like generic sweetness. There's a good amount of like fruity sweetness, but like I said, that spice, the oak and the pepper are what's are starting to take over and dominate the palate. But let's try it one more time here. As far as the nose though, this is staying completely consistent, just so fruity on the nose, and with the, like I said, with the spice and with the oak and the vanilla. The vanilla is very prominent on the nose as well. I didn't pick it up as much on the palate, but it's very it's a dominant note on the nose. But yeah, as far as the nose, I would say this whiskey is completely balanced and completely staying the same. But what counts the most is the palate. So let's go one last time. Yeah, so I almost completely lost the cherry note. It's still pretty sweet on the palate, but the specific cherry note that I was picking up this third time just was almost, it's still there, but it's just in the background now. I would say the palate, like now the spice, pepper and oak and a little bit of vanilla are the notes taking over the palate. Specifically the spice, pepper and oak are just overtaking the palate. So as far as balance, I would say you know, that's where it's kind of like falling back a little bit. You know, I like the balance when I tried it the first time. Super balanced, everything I like in a whiskey that I look for, this was offering. But this third time, I feel like it kind of like lost that balance, but it's still good enough with the sweetness that it was just balanced enough that I feel like it's still extremely enjoyable and not boring, and you know, something that keeps me interested. So as far as my final score on this, this one retails, by the way, for $60. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So for that proof, you know, 110.6, I would say is definitely a buy. So even though the consistency, you know, kind of like, and the balance kind of like took a back seat in the third sip, overall this is an amazing whiskey. I'm gonna give it an A and not an A plus, because like I said, the balance kind of fell off a little bit. So I'm gonna give it an A. It's very good, very solid, and I'm really impressed with everything that Maker's Mark is putting out, other than the regular Makers. I'm just not a fan of that one, but I can't wait to try the FAE-02 whenever it's available. It should be interesting. I really like the experimentation that they're doing with all the oak staves and everything they're doing. I just find it super interesting, and I feel like it brings something, you know, refreshing and something new to Maker's Mark and just bourbon overall. So If you like my content, remember to smash that like button. Remember to subscribe. You can catch me on Instagram at LegitWhiskeyReviews, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.